Friends, it is official. Freedom of speech is dead. Australia now bans, get this, bans our own Candace Owens. Why? Because the global war on speech just went international. So now we know. It's official. The High Court of Australia has decided that free speech is a luxury, not a right, and that one woman with a microphone and a spine poses a bigger threat to the national interest than foreign espionage or economic collapse. Candace Owens, the outspoken conservative firebrand who can fill auditoria across continents, has been told by the Australian government, and now by its highest court, that her ideas are just too dangerous for the Australian public to hear. Now let that sink in. A Western democracy, allegedly, supposedly grounded in Enlightenment principles, allegedly, has banned a commentator for the potential of stirring up discord. The High Court's unanimous ruling wasn't about violence. It wasn't about security threats. It wasn't about treason. It was about discomfort. It was about someone's opinions making bureaucrats uneasy. Welcome, my friend, to the era of presumptive censorship. Now, before we begin, before I continue, let me say very, very quickly about a word from our sponsor, mypillow.com / or promo code Lionel. Very simply put, Mike Lindell knows a little bit about having speech quashed, having ideas trampled and trammeled and destroyed, but he has fought back repeatedly with the best product from an American company with American workers, mypillow.com / Lionel or mypillow.com promo code Lionel. I've got a link in the description. Go and support this great man with great products, a great American story, and a great American business institution. Mike's always been good to us, and we're going to return the favor. mypillow.com promo code Lionel. Now, my friend, it seems that Australian Immigration Minister Tony Burke's decision to block Candace Owens' visa under the so-called character test reads like a parody of authoritarian bureaucracy. According to him, she could incite discord in a section of the community and thus wasn't in the national interest. Translation, her words might make people think differently. They might challenge the fragile social order. They might make the professional offense takers uncomfortable. And in modern Australia, like much of the modern West, that's a cardinal sin. You see, the government's official statement said, quote, Australia's national interest is best served when Candace Owens is somewhere else. That's not governance. That's fear disguised as policy. Burke went even further, accusing Owens of downplaying the impact of the Holocaust and spreading bizarre propaganda. Now, whether one agrees or not with her statements about Nazi medical experiments or anything, it's worth asking this question. Since when did poor taste or historical skepticism or historical nescience and ignorance qualify as grounds for deportation? Now, if that's the new standard, then half of academia should be banned for the revisionism they've been peddling for decades. See, but this isn't about history. It's about control. See, Owens, with her millions of followers, represents something bureaucrats and political elites despise: unfiltered access to the people, unfiltered access to their minds. You see, she bypasses legacy media. She speaks directly to the people, and she does it without permission. That's the true threat. Not discord, but independence. The High Court's ruling signals something much bigger than one visa denial. It tells us that the global establishment has officially normalized the idea that free speech ends where offense begins. You see, in the old days, Western democracies prided themselves on tolerating even the most abhorrent speech because that tolerance was proof of strength. Now we measure moral virtue by how efficiently we silence the non-conforming. See, Australia's judges justify their decision by arguing that the law allows the government to act when a person's presence could, quote, stir up or encourage dissension or strife. Isn't that the purpose of speech? And by the way, remember, I'm a very substantial critic of Candace Owens. I mean, I am not a fan, but I'm a fan of speech. I want everybody to speak. I don't care who you are. Say whatever you want. If you don't like it, don't listen. I'm not listening. Why should you? Why should it bother you? See, but since when was, I guess, dissension a crime? Isn't dissent the heartbeat of democracy? If causing disagreement disqualifies you from entering a country, then every philosopher, every journalist, and reformer who ever lived would have been stopped at customs. Think about this. What this case really exposes is the fragile ego. The fragile ego, the fragility of the modern state. Governments today don't fear violence. They fear ideas, and they fear debate, and they fear that the people might begin to question who actually runs their nations. Candace Owens' proposed speaking tour wasn't a coup. It was 5 stops in Australian cities to talk about God and culture and freedom of speech, or whatever the hell it is. Apparently, that's the new definition of extremism. You see, her critics cheered the ruling. Oh, yes, the Anti-Defamation Commission called it a victory for truth. Really? Now think about that one. Think about that Orwellian turn of phrase. A victory for truth achieved by banning someone from speaking. Truth that requires government protection is propaganda, not truth. So the case also sets a dangerous precedent. You see, for every other Western nation that pretends to value open dialogue, this is a precedent. They will point to this. You see, if Australia can ban Candace Owens for her speech, what's to stop Canada from banning Jordan Peterson? Or Britain from blocking then Charlie Kirk? See, once you criminalize speech under the banner of national interest, well, the concept of a free society collapses. So listen very carefully to this, because here's the bitter irony. Australia itself has been a historical haven for outspoken thinkers. It has maybe a robust press, a parliament built on British common law, and a national myth rooted in rebellion. Yet in the year 2025, it has decided that the best way to preserve national harmony is to muzzle voices that challenge it. I mean, we've seen this pattern before. COVID was the warm-up. Remember that? It was in all the papers. Governments discovered they could silence dissent under the guise of public health. See, now that same mechanism has been transferred to public order. It's the same formula. Label the dissenter dangerous. Claim it's for safety. And then enforce it with the blessing of the courts. We're doing it for your good. We don't want any trouble. See, Owens' lawyers must make the obvious argument that the decision violated the implied right to freedom of political communication. Australia doesn't have a formal Bill of Rights, but it has long historically recognized, that political speech is essential to a functioning democracy. Yet the High Court twisted that logic into a pretzel, declaring that free speech doesn't mean, quote, freedom to cause division. Cause division. What does that mean? If speech doesn't cause division, if it doesn't make people think, if it doesn't make people angry, it's anodyne. It's pabulum. In other words, speech is free as long as it doesn't offend. That's not freedom. It's permission. Candace Owens was coming to Australia to talk about ideas. controversial ones, wrong ones. I don't care. Sure. But ideas nonetheless. About Christianity, about the erosion of Western values, about whatever she wants. And what happens when societies trade truth for comfort. Her tagline was, discuss everything they don't want us speaking about. I'm for that. And if you don't like it, don't go. And they proved her right. What this really demonstrates is the new international order of managed thought. Western governments coordinate not only trade and defense, but ideology. They share a digital ministry of truth that spans continents. The same bureaucratic mindset that censors Americans on X or YouTube is now deciding who gets to set foot in Sydney. The same reasoning that bans misinformation online now bans people in real life. Oh yeah, forgot to do it. Misinformation. Charlie Kirk nailed it when he said that this is the conditioning phase. The point isn't just to silence Candace Owens, it's to make everyone else accept that silence is normal. It's no big deal. To make you shrug and say, well, that's just how it is now. That's how it goes. They want a world where questioning authority feels not only dangerous, but futile. So yes, this is bigger, of course, than Candace Owens. It's about the global shift towards ideological quarantine. If your opinions are contagious, you're not welcome. And if you're already inside the country, if you're already there to begin with, they'll make sure your speech is deplatformed before it spreads, before anybody can hear it. And here's the question every citizen of the world should be asking. If they can block her at the border today, what's to stop them from blocking you online tomorrow? Or from freezing your bank account because your tweets incite discord? See where I'm going? From redefining national interest until it means unquestioned obedience. Candace Owens isn't the first target, and she won't be the last. I'm sorry to say this. Alex Jones, I think, holds that title. But the machinery of censorship is now global, and the question isn't whether you agree with her. Believe me, I've said this repeatedly. A lot of times I don't. It's whether you're comfortable living in a world where governments decide which ideas you're allowed to hear. Remember, if you don't like her, don't listen. Because, my friend, once you accept that, once you grasp that, then the war on speech is over. And freedom lost without a shot fired. It's that simple. What are you going to do to stand up for free speech? What are you going to do? It's not about Candace Owens. It's about something bigger. It's about truth. It's about the ability to speak. That's all. Thank you for watching. And please don't forget our great sponsor, speaking of speech, Mike Lindell and our friends at mypillow.com/ or promo code Lionel. I've got the link here in the description. All right, dear friends, do me a favor. Please like this video. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams and new videos. And whatever you do, I ask you right now always to comment as you see fit.